$1 at the Kentucky Derby 2024. Let's go. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Derby happy hour for UFC 301. It's me, Monk. It's your boy, Lou. And we are here going to break down all 14 fights from a betting and DFS perspective for UFC 301. We'll get you out of here. Hour 15 or so. That seems to be our number that we usually go on. Lou, I'm looking forward to this pay-per-view. 14 fights should be an action-packed night. We've got some low-level fights that could be super exciting.
Yeah, this is definitely a card. And it's not letting me, there we go. It's not letting me retweet anything. Got Marley, got Jared here. Everybody's starting to come in, hopefully. I saw Dogfather is doing a space right now. How dare him?
Oh, he knows better.
That's all right. But yeah, interesting card in terms of fan. I am not somebody who likes pay-per-views that have a lot of juiced favorites. That's just me. But it doesn't mean I don't like one of them as a bet, in fact. And look, man, it's Derby weekend.
Yes, sir.
Soccer's winding down for the season too. So all the games start to mean a lot more now. So good time to be a sports fan. Fortunately for the Sixers, but I'm not a really
the
big
NBA playoffs. Hockey I think is going on.
I mean, I was rooting for the Sixers, but I don't really care. Honestly, I don't give a shit. Because you know what it means now?
Milwaukee got bounced, so.
But now it means I don't have to care about basketball. So that's awesome.
That's true, but at least we get to watch. We still get to see. I think Minnesota still. We used to get to see Anthony Edwards on the Sports Center top 10 every freaking night. So,
my biggest problem with sports is whenever there's a scandal in cycling.
Yeah,
because then it means we're talking about cycling.
Exactly.
And I just would rather the scandal be that we're talking about cycling as opposed to anything cyclers do. Don't get me wrong. I respect the athleticism it takes. I don't have that kind of cardio. I could bike 38 feet at this point. But I'm not interested in watching people bike.
No?
Turn left.
Get the steroids back in the game.
Go left. Go right.
We need steroids.
And people just stand on the road yay.
Yeah, and then there's randomly motorcycles. I don't know what the hell's going on over there.
You want to make the sport better, a sport like that better, put live piranhas on the road. Big
mouse traps.
Get King Shark from The Flash and just put him at a random checkpoint.
It's like an AR-15
shark
from Fortnite.
So anyway, but I guess we should talk about fights, right?
Kyle, I've been saying this. I swear to God, I've had this conversation with 4 different people in the past 3 days. I mean, every single sport, they should absolutely be forced.
Dude, Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa did steroids.
Who gives a shit about baseball since then? Or before?
It saved baseball. It was the most exciting baseball season in forever just because of what was happening. And then, then Barry Bonds goes and hits 900 home runs. And they're like, it's gone too far. It's come on, man.
No, it hasn't. Hasn't gone far enough. Exactly. Until you're hitting balls out of this stadium to another stadium, then maybe I'll think it's gone too far. But no, it has not gone too far.
Decapitation is when I guess it goes too far.
Well, I was even saying this to Brady last night. I was like, when they say he's going to knock his head into the third row, I want that to be an actual possibility. Come on, man. These are pro athletes. I want to see the best of the freaking best.
We're at an age of science now where everything's a lot safer to administer. By the way, the show might get us thrown off the air, I feel but you can administer a guy like Andy Pettit took steroids to heal faster.
Yep.
But he didn't he wasn't stronger because of it. He used it as a healing agent. There's gotta we've advanced science so much where you should be able to do some amount of it. John Jones getting picograms of did you know what a picogram? Have you ever heard the term picogram until steroids?
No.
Right, it's educational. It's great.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what a milligram is. I know what a milligram was. I know what a picogram was.
Yeah.
But you know what? If I don't know what a picogram is, don't sound that bad to me.
right? Like Jesus, man. Yeah, put him on everything. I want the recovery, the
If
strength.
they're like he took 1 billion steroids, I'd be like, man, that's a lot.
Well, the problem is we grew up with your steroids, and you think of that after school special where the guy's punching the wall and punching his girlfriend. That's not what this shit is, bro. That's not what it is. Get the real.
You know who's awesome? Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, exactly.
He did steroids. You know who else did steroids? Schwarzenegger. He's awesome.
Yeah,
Stallone. He's awesome. So basically, if you're an awesome person, you take steroids. I'm sold. I'm in.
Yeah. There's what is the bad side?
I love anybody tuning in just now being like, we are so pro drugs.
What's up, Easy? Just had him as a contestant on Bankroll or Bust. That is out now. Let's get into it, Lou. We got 14 friggin' fights. Right. 14 friggin' fights to go over. Let's see.
Your background has definitely made these guys more handsome. This is you.
Yeah, they really pop out. They really pop.
See, Jimmy knows, dude. Everybody just take drugs. Steroids. Right? Not like, you know.
Yeah.
Norm Macdonald talks about, he's like, I don't do weed, I don't do booze. It's the only drug I like, LSD. Because you take it now, and then 20 years from now, 30 years from now, you get a flashback. So, I like to stretch my drug dollar.
So good. Shout out Norm. I'm gonna just watch nothing but Norm and Attell highlights after the show is over. Those are my lullabies to fall asleep to. We've got Alessandro Costa taking on Kevin Borges. -130 for Costa, +110 for Borges. Fight doesn't go -140. The over 2.5. Basically even pretty much. -110, -120 for the under. I guess I will start us off here. Borges, got beat up pretty decently by Josh Van, outstruck 2-1, got 10.5 strikes per minute, landed on him, taken down twice, and decisioned, gave up a ton of points, like 106. Costa, I don't know, he's losing to like the better end of the flyweight spectrum in Erceg and in Albazi. And then he's beating guys at the very low end, like like Jimmy Flick. So yeah, I don't know. 8,200, 8,000. The price is right for either of these guys for GPPs. I'm probably not touching this in cash, to be completely honest. But for GPP, I don't mind throwing either one in. Like I said, very close mid-range salaries. Both, I think, have arguments to win and possibly even arguments to finish. So yeah, pretty even spread as far as GPPs go. Lou, what do you got here? SD.
This is a tricky fight. I'm going to be on the Borges side here. I don't know if I'm going to get to a bet because I kind of missed the better number here. Costa has grappling upside. This isn't binary, but Costa certainly has the grappling upside. Borjas is the cleaner striker, the more powerful striker. It's just really hard to evaluate either guy to this point. Like, Costa has 2 losses, but they're forgivable. They're to the guy who's fighting in the main event. And it's Albazi, and he took that fight on like a couple days' notice. And then his win is against Jimmy Flick. And like, I can't grade that as like a win. Like, I can't grade that as like, okay, what I learned from that. And on the Borjas side, like, I'm almost more impressed with his one good round against Van than I am anything Costa's done in the UFC. I do think Borjas is powerful. I don't know what his cardio is going to look like. I feel like people are like, oh man, he's a gasser because Van just has better cardio. So we'll see. If Costa gets the wrestling going early, I think Costa, and for DFS, Costa probably has more upside at this salary. But give me Borjas to like land a couple of big shots early and often, and I think he's going to get a KO here to start the night off.
You prefer the red?
And just immediately ruin Brazil.
Yeah. You prefer the red highlights or the super popular silver?
Well, what I don't like is the comb over.
Yeah, it looks very comb overy.
Like, and I don't understand
because of the shadow underneath. It's like, how far is that sticking out, bro?
I know most of our viewing audience are younger than me, since everybody is fucking younger than me.
True.
I don't understand this trend why everybody wants to look like Gandalf and like have silver hair when they're young, where I'm like, I see like a new one every day and I'm like, yes, get out.
Right. These 2 strips right here looking all Bride of Frankensteinish.
I don't really have a lot of grays, but I have more than 0.
Right. Right.
I can tell you right now, I didn't have this many before I met you know who.
No, hey, I mean, that's what they
But
do.
really, it's age. It's not her.
Yeah. I'm going for the silver fox part, but it seems I'm just getting these stripes. So I'll just Beltran this shit. And I'll have the white Gandalf and then the red. It'll just be a shit show. I'm looking forward to it.
By the way, ladies, nothing makes a guy happier than when you pull out one of his grays and you're like, oh, I just saw it was a gray. It's like,
and show it to him. Look what I found. Yeah.
ugh.
Fucking awesome. It's like a cool Easter egg hunt. Let's see here. One of the Bond themes, I don't know which one. Ishmael, I think. Call him Ishmael. Taking on Vince Pichel. I mean, 12 out of 10 mustache. Minus 550. Sheesh for Bonfim. 400 for Pichel. Minus 135 doesn't go. Over 1.5. Minus 250. Under 1.5 plus 200. Yeah, start us off here. What do you got?
So the over 2.5 is about like 115, 110 range.
I was gonna say I just took these from Bet Online. I don't know why the fuck they put the 1.5 up there.
I think they opened it at 1.5.
Oh, okay.
So there's some controversy this week. If you guys don't know, with Pichel.
Oh yeah, great.
I'm not going to mention this other podcast. I will say they probably have the record for most viewers where I don't know one single person that's ever watched their show. So I don't really know.
Right.
But it's the whole idea of like tagging fighters in your posts. And like, I know our guy Blood Money does this when he makes a bet. He does it, in my mind, it's respectful. But tagging guys for clout especially when you're like betting against them.
Yeah, that was a weird move.
Like if I tag our friend Cody Brondage and I'm like I didn't tag him with the Bo Nickel stuff. I'm like, no.
The dude didn't even tag Bonfim. He just tagged Pichel to tell him he's gonna lose.
So personally, like, I don't really love all that stuff. But I also then the flip side is I worry that Pichel is way too worried about shit like this and should probably be more worried about this fight.
Yeah.
So look, Pichel has been pretty durable in his career. Like and sometimes like everybody's going, oh, he's 41 years old. Yeah. By the way this sentence looks
yeah,
like
we're dickheads or
but I mean I know he's not
accurate either way. It's accurate all the way around.
Son of a bitch. I feel like Pichel's one of these guys that can kind of make fights greasy. He can make them ugly. There's gonna be somebody else in this card coming up that does the same thing. But with Bonfim, I'm just not super impressed with his cardio. I think that Pichel can probably hang in there. I don't really know how Pichel like wins here, unless it's very clear cut. How does he win? Like, he's not going to be out voluming. Like, basically his job is survival, but I kind of think Bonfim wins a decision here. I'd probably lean more toward the overs than anything else. I saw somebody Easy wrote about live betting Pichel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to be tricky on this card. I like where that mentality is. The problem here is that remember where we are. And you can't get off the fact there may be some greasy judging. I also think all the big shots are going to probably come from Bonfim, but I think Pichel can hang in there. And so I favor the overs more than anything else, and I'll just root for Pichel. But passing it to you, I mean, Pichel's not going to go for grappling here. So
probably
does he really have any equity? Does he have any equity at 6,900?
I mean, at that price, 93% of wins, 95% of wins will get you optimal probably, but there are 14 fights, so I guess that would drop a little bit. I kind of lean with you. I'm leaning decision mostly because Pichel is a tough son of a bitch, and I'm definitely rooting for Vince Pichel. So I'm not just saying that in case he's watching, but if you are Vince, I am 100% rooting for you. I just freaking love the guy. I root for him in every single fight. Like I said, I'll be rooting for him here, but man, I don't think either guy really. I'm not excited for Bonfim for DFS. So if there's, one thing I'll say about that, I'm going to be fading him a little bit at 9,300. The top 9K range is rough this week, in my opinion. And I don't think he scores great in a decision. 80 points, 90 points maybe. So yeah, I'm I'm going to pick Bonfim. I'm rooting for Pichel super hard. But yeah, I'm going to kind of fade this one on DFS just because I think it goes to decision with very few takedowns, to be honest.
I mean, I can't unsee this now.
You can just see him like yelling that. Well, you know, I mean, if Vince was around, Strickland would have turned out much differently, I'm sure.
As far as this comment goes about it being U.S. judges, yes. But the problem, but the crowd, you can't say the crowd doesn't influence the judging. You know, the way they react to things, like it absolutely can make a difference. I mean, if it's a clear-cut round, I mean, look, we're getting weird rounds as it is with no crowds in the Apex. Like, what do you think happens when all these fights are one-sided?
Right.
Last thing I will say, I don't think Pichel's watching, but Pichel does train at Factory X.
Oh, there you go.
You know who else trains at Factory X? Friend of the channel, Cody Brundage, who may be watching. Cody, if you're watching, what's up, dude? Thanks for finally adding me back on Twitter. Look, man, I couldn't write to him.
Oh,
I told him, I'm like, man, you are lucky you're cute because you're dumb as rocks, sir.
But at least you got the connection made again, though. That's all that matters.
Yeah. I told him, thanks for my under 1.5 dying, you douche. Nah, I was proud of him. I mean, he hung in there, whatever.
Like, he got the reversal too. I mean, hey, come on, man. The guy could have looked so bad against him.
I asked him, I'm like, so how goddamn strong is Bo Nickel? And he goes, honestly, he's like, I didn't think he was like as strong as I thought. He goes, but he's so fast at beating me to spots.
Fast and yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was interesting because I look at Bo and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy's like a polar bear.
Right. Like a bowler bear.
Yeah.
Sorry, had to do it. Next fight.
He's got Adelaide and Sal D'Amato and Chris Lee. They transcend country.
Yeah, they take the private jet out. We've got I don't even know who the fuck this is. Diana Barboza taking on Ernesta Carrot Cake. Minus 232 for Barboza, 197 for Carrot Cake, plus 140. Fight doesn't go. Minus 205 for the over 2.5. Let's see, 8,900, 7,300. I don't know who. I think you start. Yeah, you start this one.
This is a tricky fight because Carrot Cake fought Carly Giudice on the Contender Series, and Giudice was like, she's like a year in MMA. Like, she's a former softball player. Her brother fights. She got into it. She was like 3-0 on the regionals, but she's like got a good story. She's good looking, like energetic, and I think that's why Dana White's like, all right, let's try to fast track her. And that was like a war. Like, that was a crazy good fight. I think they each landed 140 shots or something like that. Oh, brother, I cannot disagree with that. But that was just on the feet. That was pure, no threat of grappling, just 15 minutes of striking. And Barboza, that's not going to be the case here. Barboza's going to try to get takedowns. They're both pretty early in their career. I think there's value on the Carrot Cake side, there's just too many unknowns with her. Like, it depends on how impressive you thought the Giudice win was. Honestly, I don't know how impressed I can be when you beat a 3-0 person that's like barely been doing this and made it super close. I'm going to pick Barboza. I see people on the in the distance props and I see like all these things. I'm not going to do any of that, but I will tell you a prop that I saw that was crazy. I don't know what it is now, although I can look it up, but it's the Barboza KO prop. Now, she doesn't have any KOs. Oh, no, it's still okay. It's plus 2,200 for Barboza KO. Now, if you think that she's going to get grappling going, she can end up in mount. She can end up in a crucifix. There's certainly positions she can be in to go for a KO. Also, Carrot Cake hasn't been finished, so we don't know. Maybe she just survives all these submission attempts. Barboza's like, fuck this. I just think at 22-1, when you're going to have a positional advantage on somebody, that's crazy wide for me. So I think that's worth a poke. I mean, I don't know. And look, this is like the last year we've seen people get like their first submission wins. I think it was like Vulcan got his first submission win ever after like, and that prop was crazy wide. Like, you just don't know. So we'll see. I think that's kind of, I favored Barbosa here for DFS. If she's getting takedowns and she has finishing equity, absolutely. She's interesting to me at 8,900.
Yeah, I agree. I like Carrot Cake too, though. 7,300. Like I guess I'll have just an average amount of both, probably around field weight. Yeah, I have no idea. Like I'm assuming Lou was saying Carrot Cake because that's what I've been saying this whole time. I have no idea what these chicks' names are. I know Barbosa hasn't fought the best women. She did actually beat Karina Silva back before Karina Silva was on all of the best supplements known to man. But then the very next fight got knocked out, I think, by Josie and Nunes. So who the hell knows? I'm going with Carrot Cake and DFS. I'll have a bit more just because she's cheaper, to be honest. And I don't care who it's against. If you're throwing or if you're landing 168 strikes, you're throwing way more than that, and that means you can do it for 15 minutes like she did. I'm cool with that. So I'll have around field weight to both. Probably a little more Carrot Cake, but yeah, I don't know who. I have no idea. I have no clue. I'm with you guys.
Yeah, I'm just leaving this up here for, if at the very end of the show, I'll do like a very quick 1 to 2 minute, like who I like and why, and like how I'm betting it. I'm gonna put out a video tomorrow. I can't waste. By the way, there are 3 races, Monk, so I do get to use the art like multiple times.
Nice. But, sorry, I'll put it back up, but this is true. Can confirm.
Just been a crazy busy week, guys, in terms of like trying to get content out. Like I didn't even do a prop show this week because I just haven't had time. So I'll do a little quick. I don't want Jared getting mad. I don't want to disappoint you guys with Derby stuff. So
there you go.
All right.
Let's see here. We've got Maurizio Hoofy, I believe is his name, taking on Jamie Malarkey. Let's see, minus 205 for Hoofy, plus 175 Malarkey, minus 250. Fight doesn't go. The 1.5 over 1.5 minus 155. The under is at 125. Yeah. I hear a lot of people saying the same thing, and I can't help but just repeat it back. Malarkey's been KO'd 5 times in his career. Maurizio Hoofy's never been a decision, never had a fight end by sub. All 10 of his fights, 9-1, have ended by KO, TKO. I mean, now that that's all laid out, something completely different is probably going to happen. But, I mean, Malarkey has looked not great. Muhammad Naimov, he was a minus 405 favorite there. Got KO'd in the second. And then the dude that doesn't knock out anyone, Nasrat Hakparas, knocked him out in less than 2 fucking minutes, just ruining all my DFS that week because I had little to none of Nasrat. So Mauricio's got a great shot. He is, let's see, about the same size as Malarkey. So yeah, give me Hoofy will be my pick. 8,400. I think the upside is tremendously high. We've got quick win bonus eligibility here. We've got round 1 KO eligibility here. And I'm not just throwing Malarkey out the window, although I'm probably not playing a ton of him. But he does have a ton of UFC fights, and Hoofy only 10 pro fights. So this could be a hype train one way, and then the thing goes the other way. But I'm going to try not to overthink it too much. I like Hoofy by KO. Lou, what do you like here?
Man, so this is tricky. Well, I'll tell you why I think this is tricky. Malarkey, man, like you can make an argument that the dude, like, I gotta pull up his apology again, but like,
this is a great comment.
you could make an argument that the dude should be like 1 out of his last 6.
Who's that, Malarkey? Yeah,
because, and even the 1 win I want to talk about in a second. I don't know why Tapology is being slow here, but I know that the Michael Johnson
fight. Yeah, yep.
I had a bet on McDessie plus 3.5. And I thought McDessie won that fight. The Michael Johnson fight, he got dropped, and I thought Michael Johnson won. And I had a bet on Malarkey in that fight, and I thought that Michael Johnson won that fight. And his one legitimate win is Francisco Prado. And like, if you ran that back right now, Prado would be minus 250, probably minus 200.
Yeah, the line would flip. Yeah.
So, and it wasn't even impressive. That was the Malarkey decision one where everybody in the fucking space had the under. Everybody had the under 2.5. And I'm like, Malarkey decision, but it was only plus 240. And I'm like, And then Brady's like, I think Brady's like, I'm going to take the Malarkey decision. Like, I'm going to take your play. I'm like, all right. And that was one of those, it was like the Garbrandt decision where the whole third round he's laying on him and everybody's booing and you're standing on your couch like, do not get up till they force you up. Like, this is gorgeous. Just lay on them. And then as soon as they break you up, just lay right back down on them. So here's what I worry about on the Hoofy side. He doesn't throw a lot of volume. Like, he's very low volume. If I knew he was going to throw like 40, 50 strikes around, this is a no-brainer play for me. But with his low volume, it's like, could Malarkey vet less on him? And
Exactly.
He's got some decent regional wins, if he does. So it's not like just he's faced like the generic Brazilian cans that every one of these guys faces. Like, he has some decent wins in the regionals. I don't think Malarkey's that good. But like, if this thing gets out of the first, do you feel good having this Ruffy ticket at minus 205?
No.
So
no.
I'm gonna pick Ruffy to get the job done, to win by finish. I wonder what my book has for this prop. I would do something like Ruffy 1-2 KO, something along those lines. Actually, let's see what FanDuel has for this, if it's out yet. But I would think round 1, round 2 KO would probably be the way to go here, to at least cut your odds down. But
right, they're probably on to it pretty good.
Well, on FanDuel, you never, God bless FanDuel.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, there you go. Plus 140
yep.
for Huffy round 1, round 2 KO. That's probably the way you'd have to play. I think that's the way you'd play it if you like the Huffy side. But I mean, it's just this Malarkey. I mean, Malarkey, look, also Australia to Brazil, not an easy trip.
True. Not at all.
So
not at all.
I'm going to pick Huffy, but I don't have there's people like that I have pretty strong confidence on the Huffy side this week. I feel like their confidence is just a bet against Malarkey, and that's
right.
Gives me pause, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Not
We've
a
only
fan
got 10
of
fights.
Bet against them. I don't like bets where I'm betting against somebody because then you need the person you're betting on to not fucking suck.
Exactly. And there's no guarantee there. Super. The whole spreadsheet just crashed. Who cares? I don't need it. Drakkar Close taking on Joaquim Silva, minus 170 for Close. 8,700 is his salary. The comeback plus 145.
I got no. By the way, I think it's like plus 380. I got no issue with this as a play.
No, not at all.
Because this means Malarkey vet lessened him and got takedowns and won the second and third clear.
Yep.
Clear. I don't know how Huffy wins rounds because he's not a minute winner. He's just low volume and he's either going to bonk him or he's not. At least Malarkey's going to throw volume. Like, may not land it, but he's certainly going to be throwing a lot of volume.
Yeah, I don't mind that at plus 3.
And if somebody's going to go for takedowns, it's probably him. So the Malarkey decision, I think, is a nice play. It's a good way to play Malarkey.
Very true. There we go. Drakkar Close, last seen slamming somebody, Joe Selecki, on his freaking head in the first round. Fight doesn't go as minus 150. And once again, we have a 1.5 over under crazy numbers, minus 250 plus 200. What do you like here between Close and one of two Jay Silvas on the card?
So before tape, and when I saw this fight was announced, I was like 99% sure I was going to be on the Drakkar Close side, just because I've always liked him. I feel like maybe he's had a little bit of bad luck in the UFC. And then as time went on, I'm like, this has gone from betting Close to currently passing on the fight to maybe leaning to the Silva side. Because it's like, I just don't know what I'm getting from Drakkar Close. There's times when like he looks super slick with the boxing. Look, I'm not a big Joe Selecki guy at all. Like,
what do you mean?
I just think that one-dimensional style at this level is like it. I think years ago it was fine. I think nowadays it's
right.
The Rafa Garcia win, he won, but he didn't even throw a ton of volume. And then Brandon Jang,
the highlight reel.
Like, But then he has fights against Giagos where, like, yeah, he won, but like, how are you not finishing Giagos?
Right.
How bad his cardio is. And it's like, the thing that a lot of these guys have in common is even Rafa Garcia in that fight wasn't aggressive, like leading the dance. Like, he was happy to just counter punch and kind of like close, just pepper him. I knew somebody was going to want me to say it. So like peppering him with shots and staying out of range and just point, like, you know, he's point fighting. And I just don't think Silva's gonna allow that to be the fight here. I think he's gonna want to just crash the pocket, make it ugly, has grappling upside. I think he's gonna win the optics here. So I'm gonna pick Silva to win. Probably like a pretty fun competitive decision. I would like, and the one thing I think that was going to lead me toward close to most was like, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh man, isn't Silva like, he's kind of a gasser. But then, you know, because he's older. But then I'm like going through his shit and I'm like, dude, he looked all right against Arman. Like, aside from like the good moment in a second, I mean, his cardio looked good. The problem wasn't his cardio. The problem is he's getting mauled by like a bear.
Yeah.
But like the Guida fight, man, he looked good in the third round. He won the third round. Like, he looked good in that one. And Guida's a tough guy in terms of like having cardio. Like, you have to be well conditioned to go 15 minutes with Guida, even if Guida's skill sets, you know, you're getting diminishing returns with Guida at this point, which I understand. He still fights the same way, which is just such a crazy high pace. And Silva, I thought, looked really good in the third round. So I'm not really worried about the cardio here. He's probably going to throw more volume. He is probably going to land the bigger shots and get the optics. So give me Silva to win by decision, or you could do the mushroom special, like the round 3 decision. I do think if Silva won, he'd probably win late with a KO. But he's not getting a submission, even though his name is Neto BJJ.
Right. Yeah, he's also the younger fighter here. Would you believe that? He's young. He's 1 year younger, 11 months younger than Drakkar Klose.
Well, it's weird because Klose, he feels like he's been around for forever.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he just takes a lot of time between fights. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's weird. But I like the Silva side here. Glad to see Daz is on that as well.
Yeah, when I saw this one this week, I was like, well, I know what I'm not going to touch in DraftKings. But then I kind of looked at the actual fight, and let's see, 7 of their last 10 fights have ended by KO TKO. 3 of Klose's last 5 and 4 of Silva's last 5. All 3 of his losses in his last 5 are KO TKOs for Silva. And Klose, his one loss was to Dariush. Dariush KO'd him back in 2020. So yeah, there is a ton of finishes happening in Drakkar Klose and Joaquim Silva fights super quietly, I get, at least for me. I don't know what you guys were, but as soon as I saw this fight, like I said, I didn't really want to play it.
The weirdest injury ever, dude.
Yeah, like, for sure. 8,700 though, I think 87 and 75. I think it's worth a shot on both of these guys. Not touching this in cash. Actually, that's not true. I don't mind a little of Klose, I guess, in cash. I think his ceiling is a bit higher. But Silva's just maybe a bit too risky for me personally. So yeah, and somehow Klose over his last 5, the number 1 DraftKings points per minute score on the entire card. I cannot believe that, Lou. 4.56 points a minute.
Well, dude, they let him like brutalize Brandon Jenkins for like way too long. Like, that's why.
Well, even in that one, I mean, he got knocked down. Oh no, that's the Dariush fight. Yeah, 2 takedowns, 2 knocked. Yeah, they did let him do that.
Right, but he should have scored like 50 points less.
That's like maybe so. Yeah, he did put up 130.
Fight against Frivola against
what's his name?
Valdez.
Yeah, Valdez.
Where he's like, oh, Frivola got credit with 7 knockdowns. I'm like, yeah. So they should have stopped it too. They just kept letting him get up, and I'm like, they're like, oh man, Frivola. But I should mention, I had Gennaro Valdez in a lot of lineups that night.
Oh no.
Yeah. So he got like 2, and Frivola got like 190, and I'm like, all right.
It's like, stop. He's already dead.
That's when you just close DraftKings down. You're like, you know what?
Yep. You're like, wasn't my week this week. Now I'm just gonna sit back and enjoy the card.
Now I don't have to worry about the rest of them. I don't give a shit about any of that. Now I want to come in dead last. Like, now I hope I put up 9 points.
All right, next fight, the other Jay Silva, Jean Silva, taking on William Gomes, -115 for Silva, -105 Gomes. Fight doesn't go, is +115. The over 2.5, -180. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is going to be one I'm going to try to fade a little bit. William Gomes fights are freaking DraftKings kryptonite. He beat Francis Marshall and scored 41 points, Lou. He knocked out Giannis Gamori and scored 69 points, Lou. Come on. What are we doing here? John Silva, I mean, beat Weston Wilson, but Jesus, what are we doing there? You got to throw that out the window. Weston Wilson is terrible. This fight probably goes to decision, and John Silva's walkout probably takes longer than the fight. So yeah, 86 and 76. I'll be pretty average to below average here for DraftKings. I do favor John Silva to win, but Gomes, again, DraftKings kryptonite. Just awful. One of the worst on the card at scoring points and number one in scoring defense, meaning he allows the least amount of points out of the entire card. So not too interested here. What do you got? Anything fun for this one?
No. But the crappy part for you with DraftKings is you're getting a guy at -105 who's 7,600. Like, you're getting value. I hate to say it, you are getting value with the money line versus, like, 8,600 for a -115 guy is awful.
Right.
It's terrible. Like, you're losing a lot of value on it.
Which means the opposite has to be good.
But then how can it be here? Like,
right.
Gomez's win condition is make it boring.
Yep.
And I'll quote our good friend DFS by the numbers here when he said, "If I was the judge, I'd favor the barking."
Yes.
I've had a really tough time reading this fight, and I think, like, even the community seems kind of 50-50 here. You know, Gomes' decision, you're not even like, I'm really surprised. Fight goes the distance to me. It just feels very correlated with the Gomes win. So I think Gomes, dude, if he just makes it ugly, he probably wins easily. I don't know if I love Silva's cardio late in fights. He throws with like such ill intent that I don't think he can do it for 15 minutes against a guy who's very defensively sound. Like the Francis Marshall fight that Gomes had, he just neutralized everything Marshall wanted to do. He didn't let him get at distance. He mixed in some grappling. I can kind of see him doing it here. I don't want to get involved in this one at all. Like, I would lean, if I had to bet, it would be the Gomes side. But at -105, I'm not real thrilled about it. I can't hear you.
Fuck. I said not at all. Next fight. I mean, they're like,
this is a bang. Now we're getting to the good stuff.
They're like, dude, look at the camera, and he's like, I don't know what that is. My titty back Oral Boy -242 taking on Elves Brenner. What is happening with this dude's hair? +207. My fight doesn't go -110. The over 2.5 here -135. Lou, what do you like for this one?
So even your fancy schmancy new backgrounds couldn't make these two good looking.
Dude, what is going on with this dude's hairline? What is that?
I mean, you're looking at that, but I just can't take my eyes off this Ruben, like this statuesque Oral Bay, like this Cro-Magnon man.
Yeah, right. It looks like he's Shavkat's like great grandfather.
All right, so I will just say this: at the number, I think you have to go Brenner or pass from a betting perspective. I think you have to. But that being said, Oral Bay's win condition, because he's really good, his striking is good, but it's the way he gets takedowns is what I like. It's that he doesn't just dive in blind. Like, he kind of positions you, gets near the cage, maybe goes for a single leg, but once he gets in on you, he keeps his head safe. Like, he's very technical in the way he gets takedowns, and his control's really good. So a win for him is probably like 50-50 on the feet, but then getting control time, and Brenner can't get up. And I know Brenner's going to be throwing up submissions and shit, but I think that Oral Bay could probably just kind of pin him down. What I worry about is how does Oral Bay look in the third? Because I think that we know how Brenner looks in the third. I think we know that he's going to come out and he's going to have good cardio.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
going to be swinging for the fences. Somebody I was talking to said, well, this is a big step down from the Gurham fight. And I'm like, I don't know that it is, because Gurham fights like once every 2 years. And yeah, he's a good striker, but like he's never mixing in a lot of grappling. Like Oral Bay is way more well-rounded. I don't know how Brenner decision is not for me. I think that Oral Bay can absolutely just eat up the clock with his grappling. Like I think Brenner would probably he'd have to win one of the first 2 rounds. I think Brenner can win the third round. I think he can have the optics and but I kind of feel like Brenner is not drawing completely live to a finish, but he's drawing heavily to a finish. And I think Oral Bay is probably drawing a lot to just a grappling based decision here, but I'd bet Brenner at the number. I really like the overs. Again, I hate betting all these overs, but I think this goes to the distance at a pretty high clip. But if it doesn't, it's probably Brenner getting the KO. I don't think Oral Bay is going to sub Brenner. I really don't.
Yeah, I like the decision probably too. Hopefully a lot of I love this for GPP. I mean, what's 15 minutes when you've been around for like 15,000 years? You know what I'm saying? It's just another blink of an eye, basically. Yeah, I like the takedown upside, obviously, from a DraftKings perspective at 9K. I think we have a chance to pay that off. And meanwhile, Elves Brenner, I mean, Jesus, man. ROI darling, like plus 300 or 300%. I think he's over 900. If you bet $100 on each of his fights, you're over $900, plus 400, plus 470, and a minus 225 against Kanon. Yeah, just ROI machine. Never say die attitude. I mean, one of the greatest photos probably ever, series of photos in UFC recent memory. Just fantastic. So yeah, this is going to be a great fight to target for GPPs, but I am leaning my titty back Oral Boy. Yeah, I'm going to have to go, Justin. I'm going to have to agree. I don't, is this like hair plug prep? I don't know what is going on with Brenner. I just can't get over that. And this coming from a bald guy. Like if I didn't shave my head, I would have that straight across. I don't get this. I get this right here. So me and him are like opposites. Maybe that's why I don't get it. But yeah, give me Oral Boy here for the win. Love him for DraftKings as well. Brenner cheap as hell though. 7,200, not a bad punt. I wouldn't even consider him a punt. I would just consider him a decent GPP play at that price. Next fight. Oh my goodness. My girl, Karolina Kowalkiewicz. She's so classy. What a classy lady. Taking on Yasmin Lucindo. Huge age difference here, 38 to 22, but that don't mean shit. Kowalkiewicz on a 4-fight streak, and she's landed 9 strikes a minute, 5 strikes a minute, 9 and 9.5 strikes a minute in her last 4 fights. Lucindo, she's beating girls like Brogan Walker, Polyana Viana. Kowalkiewicz is not the best of the best, but she's not Polyana Viana. She is not Brogan freaking Walker. So, yeah, Lucindo, I think with not much. I mean, she has 20 fights, but 10 of them are against 0-0 chicks or 2-0 chicks or 0-2 chicks. I don't see a ton of professional experience there. Give me Kowalkiewicz. I don't think she's done yet. I like her a lot at 7K, like a lot. In fact, all the PSR guys, the Pub Sports Radio guys, we all had her in our lineups last night, which kind of surprised me. But I do like her here. I don't think Lucindo's going to get a quick finish, so I don't really like her at 9,200, and I'm looking to play Karolina and look for a win. I'm just straight up going to pick her to win. Probably a little biased, but hey, what are you going to do? It's Karolina. Lou, what do you got here? Are you going to put the Lou in Lucindo?
I mean, I'm never betting this fight. Like, I feel like I've said this many times in the show. Parlaying somebody at over minus 300 in women's MMA. What could possibly go wrong?
Right.
It's probably a Lucinda decision. You're not even getting like great equity there. I'm not interested in playing this. I get why you'd play it for DFS, at least at 7K. She could probably, I mean, like, I don't think she wins, but even in a loss, maybe she gets you 30 points, which isn't bad. like it lets you get to a lot of people in a lineup. So I don't really hate that. But yeah, I'm good on not, you know, I'm good on not. And by the way, I'm trying to figure this out. I should have announced this. So literally after the Pichel fight should be the Derby. So that's when you take your break from watching. You put on the Kentucky Derby.
You mean during the Dione Barboza and Carrot Cake fight?
It should be between them. Keep the race is 2 minutes, dude.
No, I
mean, you'll have time.
Actually, that's great advice. That is fantastic. Yeah, I'll be doing that for sure. Little split screen action. Here we go. One of my personal favorite fights of the night. Should be a banger, man. Joe Anderson Brito taking on Jack Tank Shore. Minus 164 for Brito, plus 144 for Shore. Fight doesn't go as minus 175, but the over 1.5 is minus 185. A couple mid-range salaries here. Lou, how do you like this one in the featherweight division?
Well, I don't trust the Welsh. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, that seems
I
to
am
be
no
the
fan
sentiment.
I am no fan of the Welshman.
Jared's right. But also,
this is a tricky fight because I do think Brito can be pinned on bottom. I think he can be held down. Algeo had success doing it. Pierce had success. I think Shore can have success. But there's another problem here, and there's a bigger problem. And that bigger problem is I can't unsee Jack Shore getting pieced up on the feet by Ricky Simone.
Ricky Simone, yep.
Like, I can't unsee that. And I think that was the Long Island card, I think. But I think that's the fight where, like, everybody had the over.
And or horse fights a thing?
I don't know. I'd bet it.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I'd certainly bet it.
Do they stand on their hind legs and throw punches?
Whoever doesn't come in the top 4 of the Derby, they fight to the death to not go to the glue factory.
That's so awesome.
In the infield.
One of my favorite Simpsons lines ever.
This is a bit of a square pick. This is a square pick, but I'm going to play Brito here in the distance. I think the sub's live, so I don't want to do the KO. I just feel like they're building Brito up as like an unkillable monster at this point.
Well,
and it's not like Shore. I mean, his wrestling is good. He's proven his cardio is pretty good. I just think that this whole fight, if you've bet on Shore, you're going to be clenching your butt cheeks like for any exchange on the feet. Because like Brito, it's only going to take one moment for him to just send this dude like Ring King style in the 8th row. So yeah, I favor the Brito in the distance side here. But for DFS, this is kind of interesting because, man, even in a loss, if Shore's getting a lot of takedowns, control time, I mean, he does throw strikes on the – he's not, like, totally inactive, like, as a striker when he gets somebody down. Like, a win for Shore is you know, a grappling-based – he could get a late finish, I guess. Well, Brito's never been finished, I don't think. But, grappling-based decision for Shore is, like, an insane amount of points.
That's probably true, especially at 7,700. My problem is with his level of competition outside of the Ricky. Yeah, outside of his, and they never seem to know what weight class these guys are fighting in. I mean, what are they doing, Jack? I mean, Jack and his dad, I forget his name for some reason. I can't remember his fucking dad's name. I don't know why. Can never get the weight class right.
It's Paulie. That's
Paulie. That's right. Yeah, and his grandma Mitzi as well. I did know that one.
Paulie, sure, he's fine.
So yeah, outside of Simone, I mean, Shore's beating Amir Khani, Timur Valiev, Sholinian, Hunter Azure. Like, these guys aren't names. I mean, Brito's beating Weston Wilson, so it's not much better, but Andre Feely is in there.
I mean, Pierce is a really good win.
Pierce, yeah, for sure. And a great meme win as well. That was just hilarious. But yeah, for DraftKings, I love this fight. I'm agreeing with you. I'm on the Brito side. Brito inside the distance. I think he has a gigantic ceiling. And Shore, I don't think he has as big of a ceiling, but I think it is there, like you were alluding to. So definitely like this one. I think I had Brito in my cash lineup, but for GPPs, I'm definitely playing both sides of this fight. But again, I do favor Brito. There we go. And look at these. This is where the lines start getting a bit wild for a couple of fights. We've got the last of the fighting nerds. Yeah. Caio Borralho.
How'd we miss that one? His cousin Floribama.
Yeah, there you go. Caio Borralho -6. Oh, nice. You called it. -645. My God. Against my guy Paul Craig. -175. Fight doesn't go. The over 1.5 -200. So Lou, what do you got? This picture is not accurate because as of now, Paul Craig has silver hair plugs in his head. What do you got here?
Man, I mean, I tell you who I'm rooting for.
Right.
That's for sure. Paul Craig is who I'm rooting for. Paul Craig. I mean, so how do you beat? Great reminder that Paul Craig is 8-2 in fights he's lost in the UFC. I think in all his wins combined, he's won like 53 seconds. Like the Krylov fight, he won like 2 seconds. Ankalaev, he won like 2 seconds. Yep. Jamal Hill, he beat in like he won like 3 seconds of that fight. Like, so how does Paul Craig win? People do stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
They go into his guard, they screw around, they get caught. Well, the one thing that Borralho is known for is like that he's a super intelligent fighter, even if it can be sometimes boring. So, I mean, I would lean toward Borralho KO if I had to do a prop. I just think Paul Craig's kind of hard to sub. I think but it's more that I think Borralho is going to stay out of positions where like he could get sub, like he could even go for a sub. I could see Borralho wanting to keep this on the feet a little more than usual because, I don't know, man. I mean, I see GC just said the Borralho KO, like, I would definitely lean more toward that than the sub, just because, again, if you think the fight's going to stay out of the grappling, if Borralho backpacks him, I think Craig's defensively responsible enough,
right,
to maybe avoid it. I was having I don't want to say an argument, maybe a tete with somebody earlier today that said, because I said last night that I thought Paul Craig's cardio was good. They're like, you honestly said that and believe it? He's like, that's weird. And I'm like, well, he has like a few round 3 finishes and a couple of late round 2 finishes.
Yep.
So, I mean, he probably has all right cardio, but more it's the way Paul Craig fights. He's not expending a lot of energy. Like, he's happy to go in a guard. You're not like crushing your cardio that way. And it's not like he's throwing 100 strikes on the feet. Like, he fights at a pace where really like he's maximizing, like whether or not he has good cardio. The point is he doesn't get tired because of the style he uses. And in this kind of fight, if it's on the feet, he's not going to fatigue. If Borralho backpacks him, then he's not really going to get tired either. The thing is you worry that like if Borralho gets him down and just like that's the end of the round, like you worry about that. But if you're Borralho and you take his back and Craig spins and reverses on top of you, like that's a problem. I mean, that's the one way Borralho would really lose this fight. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was on the feet a lot more than usual. And I think Borralho probably live for a KO, but like, I don't know that I can trust him to get a finish either. Like, so I'm going to make the bold move of saying Borralho wins this fight. I think the KO is probably the preferred prop, but like, I just want to fucking root for Paul Craig, man. Like, obviously, exactly. And if you're going to bet Paul Craig sub. This is, day one shit to know that.
Round 3, baby.
I mean, what's his round here? What's his fucking round 3?
Or even round 2, 3.
No, it's got to be meme. If you're going to do it, you got to do it.
That's true.
Paul Craig round 3 submission. Dude, it's 35-1. You have to throw
shit.
You got to throw a shekel on that.
For sure.
Throw your derby winnings on that.
Yeah, there you go.
Day one-ish.
This is
the ultimate. Not only that, by the way, this is a bet that you're like, if you win this bet, you're so happy you won it.
Oh, yeah.
It's hilarious. You're like, of course.
Like, it was always supposed to be this way. Yeah, I'll keep it quick. I'm probably fading Caio a bit. I think this one goes to decision more often than not. Like you said, he's smart. Paul Craig's defensively sound. two jiu-jitsu guys. Like, it's going to kind of be a stalemate, I think. So, yeah, give me, I'm rooting for Craig, but 9,500 for Bahio is not ideal. I mean, is he really gonna come out here and like KO Paul Craig in the first round? Like, that's what you would need to pay off that salary. And outside of the Oleksiejczuk,
but he could. He absolutely could. If that's how he chooses to fight, he really should have.
I wouldn't expect a knockdown though. I would expect Paul Craig to shoot half a takedown, then roll to his back, then Bahio follows him or something and finishes him on the ground. That might not even score 100 points. He did put up 107 against Oleksiejczuk, who has no grappling at all, but every other win is like 77, 80, 75. So I'm not too excited. I will have a little bit, just for like that reason, especially, and a little bit of Paul Craig too, just because he's so cheap. But I'll be fading this one a little bit in general. Here we go. I don't know if you can fade this one. Michel Pereira, most expensive fighter on the card this week, taking on Ihor Potieria. Minus 700 for Pereira, plus 500 the comeback. Minus 500 fight doesn't go, and the over 1.5 is plus 130. The under minus 160. I like Michel Pereira, 9,600. I think he's mixing. He's finally figuring out to mix the technical with the crazy / interesting. And over his last two fights, he's barely missed the quick win bonus by like 11 seconds total. Oleksiejczuk a minute, just over a minute, and then Petrosky a couple seconds after that. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Potieras looked absolute dog shit, except against Mauricio Hua, who shouldn't have been in that fight, and Robert Brichek, who was a newcomer and has about 6 minutes of cardio. So yeah, Potieria should easily be able to be 1-4 in his last 5, 0-5. Give me Michel Pereira. I'll play him in cash. I'll play him in GPPs. I will have a little bit of Potieria in GPPs, Lou, just for the memes, but not too much. What do you got here?
I mean, first of all, I think the Pereira sub's priced really weird. It's like plus 350, 360 last I looked. I guess there's a plus 350 still out there. I don't know why Pereira can't sub him. I feel like he's going to have a huge grappling advantage.
Yep.
You're at a grappling advantage against Brichek, who never grapples. Like, look, man, Potieria, a couple wins now. Like, all right. But he beat a super limited guy that was in as a favorite of Joanna Jędrzejczyk. And then he beat a 90-year-old man. So, like, and Pereira at this weight class at 185, certainly, and he's taken his career a lot more serious. He certainly looks like more of a tank. I mean, look, whatever you think about Andre Petrosky, I think he's way better than Potieria.
Yeah. Same.
Like, he's way better. I mean, I like Pereira 1-2. It's like minus 180 range. It's chalky, but like, I kind of don't see how Pereira doesn't just kill this guy. You could play the unders. Like,
we do have an orthodox southpaw matchup here.
I just don't know what Ihor like does well. I think his chin is like a little better than people think. But I just think Pereira could easily take him down and like crush him. Like, I really do. If Pereira wants to go for a takedown, like, he could. So
what do you say to Bags here?
Yeah.
Yam Bags?
No.
Not here?
I don't think this fight's gonna go long enough.
There we go.
So I like the Pereira side. I mean, it's not like a hot take or anything else.
Yes, right. But you do have to say it.
I mean, that's, if you're gonna bet Ihor, it's certainly a way to do it. Like, can we talk about what I said before? I'm telling you guys right now, if Ihor wins, don't worry about the rest of the card. They got to put a camera on him trying to escape Brazil. That's gonna be all I'm gonna want to watch. Because, dude, there'll be a manhunt for him. Dude, there is going to be a manhunt for him trying to leave the country.
Right. That would be amazing. That would be. I might have to root for that.
So before you intro this one, can we talk about Bogdan Godgin Guskov?
What a fight!
As called on this show, getting 10-8 in the first.
Yeah.
And then winning by round 2. Like, I'm
So
the blind
awesome.
squirrel that finds the nut. I'm like, Span should be I broke it down perfect. I'm like, Span's gonna dominate him, and then he's somehow
gonna
not gonna
die.
win. I'm not
Yep.
the only person that said that. I did the show at VB, and he's like, Span's gonna kill him. He's better everywhere. I'm like, I agree with everything you just said. I'm still taking Bogdan Gustav. Like, I can't take. Dude, I can't do it.
No.
And when I talked to him this week, he's like, I should have listened to you. And I'm like, no, because dude, you bet a guy who was minus 190 who really should have had a finish in the first round and then just didn't.
Right.
He's like, I live bet Guskov after one. I'm like, I think that's a good move. At least he's like, I had just a little bit. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, at that point you'd have to.
I mean, I forget what the live number was, but I think it was like plus 700 or some shit.
Jesus.
We got 1080. You got 1080.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Who is Bobby Petrino? Why do I want to keep calling this guy Bobby Petrino? Who is that?
The coach of Louisville.
Okay, that's why.
Football coach.
That's why.
And then he got I think he got a DUI on a motorcycle with like.
Oh yeah.
20-year-old girl. I could be confusing him with like somebody else, but
any other NCAA coach.
I kind of feel like I'm right about this.
I think you are, because there's a pic of him with a neck brace. So yeah, Vitor Bobby Petrino taking on Anthony Bogdan Smith minus 550. I'm sick of these lines for Petrino, plus 400 for Smith. Minus 210. Fight doesn't go. The over 1.5 minus 200. Under is plus 160. Let's see here. I'll start this one off. Look, Anthony Smith, my hometown guy. I think the salary's probably right for a punt play here at 6,800. Look, man, Vitor Smith is tough. He is tough. He did get KO'd by Roundtree after 11 minutes. KO'd by Ankalaev after 8 minutes. Went all three with Johnny Walker. I mean, the Ryan Spann wins are aging more and more poorly. Oh yeah, Patino. Yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, Petrino, the one thing that I'm wondering about, man, is his scores start off really well against the Pleasure Man, really well. Then he goes down 10 points against Pragnio, then down another 10 against Bukauskas, then beats Tyson Pedro, who we find out was one fight away from retirement, and he only scored 66 points, 1.8 strikes a minute, a couple of takedowns, a round's worth of control time, and he scores 66 points. And then now he's 9,400. So I just don't know. I'm going to have some of Petrino, but I'm probably going to be under the field. And I think, like I said, Smith probably a decent punt play, but not much more than that probably. Lou, anything interesting here?
Yep. Couch Warrior and I are riding together on this one. And just my 2 cents is on this, not this prop, but I'm taking Anthony Smith to win by decision.
Yes.
I just don't like Petrino. I don't like the way he fights. But more importantly, it's so funny because you watch the fight against your boy Turkali, and it looked like he was crushing him. And everybody's like, man, Turkali's got some kind of chin. He's withstanding this. But now maybe it looks like Petrino just doesn't hit as hard as we thought.
As he looks like he should.
You know, Pedro offered nothing, no resistance whatsoever. But the Pragnio fight's interesting because at distance, it was all Pragnio landing shots. Yep. He's getting the kicks through. You know, and Petrino's like, all right, I just got to take this guy down and grapple him. Now, the one thing you say about Anthony Smith is if you want to take Anthony Smith down, he will oblige you. He's happy to be taken down. But I feel like the leg kicks will be there for Anthony Smith. I mean, do you worry about getting bonked? Of course. Like he's taking a lot of damage, but I think this is a step down for Anthony Smith, to be honest. And I think Anthony Smith's a step up from Pragnio and from Tyson Pedro. I mean, I don't hate this either. I mean, if it hits the ground, I don't think Petrino is the one thing I like about Petrino that I've said this before. If you watch that Pragnio fight back, like it's obvious he's working on his grappling. But what I like is
a lot of people thought he was going to crush Pragnio.
But he was taking his time and he was looking at his coaches and he was listening. They're guiding him through like progression on the ground. So I like that. Mm-hmm. But that's against a guy like Pragnio that really doesn't have any defense. That's not going to work against a guy like Smith because Smith can throw up submissions if he wants. Like
Oh yeah.
Ring King talking about the Lionheart sub. I think it's possible for sure. The 11 plus 1100 on the Smith decision. I was like, all right, how does Smith win? So I would say I have to say Anthony Smith at this point because Petrino's still just like Petrino's really still like getting his grappling going. Like that's been the big thing he's working on the last year of his game. I think like you asked me this question in a year or two, it's
right.
It's probably Petrino at that point, but I kind of think Smith can vet less than him, and especially on the feet, I think he's probably going to be landing more. If he doesn't get bonked, I think Smith can win minutes on the feet here. So, I mean, what was Petrino against Tyson? What was Petrino against Tyson Pedro?
Let me look.
I have it up right now. I'm just asking you.
Minus 420, bro.
He's 420 against Pedro. He's minus 260 against Bukauskas and Prochnio.
Yep.
Now he's a wider line against the best guy he's ever fought.
Yep. And he's looked
even
the worst
Smith,
he's ever looked.
I mean, I get it. Like, you're betting on Smith, like, just having diminishing returns at this stage of his career. I get it. But skill for skill, he's easily the best guy he's ever fought.
Right.
So I think there's value on the Smith side. I mean, if you lose, you lose. But, like, this Petrino number is ridiculous.
It's wild.
I see Daz as fight goes the distance. Yeah, I mean, the over 1.5 at minus 200. I don't know if I like that. I liked it against Pedro, but that's because Pedro's so low volume. But like, and Pedro's like, I don't know, he's weirdly durable. It's for a guy to have as many injuries as he has, he doesn't get like finished a lot. He's just, I don't know.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
But yeah, that line's crazy. All right. Well, this one at least I care about.
Right. Co-main event. I mean, probably top 1 or 2 fights I'm interested in on the entire card. Jonathan Martinez minus 142, 8,300, taking on the return of Jose Aldo plus 122 at 7,900. Fight doesn't go plus 170. Over 2.5 is minus 260. Lou, what do you think? Anything standing out here in this co-main event?
I just pulled up Twitter and I see a tweet from Clint from 5 hours ago. It's like Twitter is hearing me now. He bet Anthony Smith.
Yep.
He bet the sub, and he bet the round 3 sub at plus 5,000.
I saw that.
And I see Dan Levy's like, Clint, wait. And it's like, Dan doesn't take underdogs ever.
Yeah, he's putting 0.2 units on it.
That's not true. Dan does take underdogs, by the way. I think he was on Yan Jen on the other day. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking Aldo here, man. And one last ride. Look, man, I like that Aldo. Okay, first of all, Aldo's just way better than Jonathan Martinez. Okay. That's all there is to it. Like, what are the narratives in this fight? Oh, man, Martino, he leg kicks, leg kick. You know who's really good at checking leg kicks is Jose Aldo. What does Martinez offer past that point? Like, I think Aldo's the better boxer. He's been boxing. Like, he's a better boxer. He's probably got more KO equity. He's definitely got more grappling equity. Martinez's takedown defense is pretty good. But I think Aldo, if he wanted to, probably has the takedown equity here. And I like the KO prop as well for Aldo. So it's not going to be like the hugest, most technical breakdown. I've never really gotten it with Martinez. Like, it's weird. He's so one-dimensional. Like, he's good at it. He's good at it with one dimension. And, like, yeah, he beat Cub, but, like, Cub doesn't fucking check shit at this point in his career. Like, the guys Cub Swanson's beating are like Darren Elkins, where he's offering no defense. And Cub's like, I'm just not scared. I'm going in. Like, Martinez hurt him, like, super early in that first round. He hurt Swanson with one of those kicks. I just think Aldo can check at least one and maybe get him out late. We'll see. So.
Yeah, I don't have a ton on this one. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be rooting for Jose Aldo, but yeah, as far as DraftKings go, this is one of my lower fights to target. Neither guy has ever scored well, really, historically. I mean, against the Yanez, Martinez did score okay. The Swanson one as well, but he also scored less than 60 points against Perez, 64 against Nurmagomedov, so he's all or nothing basically. I think this one does go to decision, rooting for Jose Aldo, or hopefully even a finish like you were saying. But I really don't think at 7,900, I mean, he's going to need a bunch of points to become optimal with 14 or 27 other fighters on this card, 13 other fights. So yeah, give me Aldo just because I think it's close, and Green King, it's in Rio, and I think it goes to decision. So how do the judges not give Aldo a decision in what's sure to be his last UFC fight? So yeah, I'm going against my rule here. I'll pick Aldo. And just one I'm not too interested in for DraftKings. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy it. We did it, guys. Go ahead.
Sylvan closes the Ambag shot.
Nice. Okay. I like that. We did it. Hit the thumbs up on this video. Hit the sub button, if I could speak, on the MMA engine. And we are on the main event. Pantoja minus 180 taking on Erceg plus 155. Minus 150 doesn't go in the over 3.5, set at minus 155. The under plus 125. I'll start us off here. Love Pantoja at 8,800 in this spot. He's coming off back-to-back 140-point performances in decision wins in 5-round fights. I don't see much difference here. Erceg probably in this spot a little too soon. And I'm, 3 fights in the UFC, and we're getting a title shot. I mean, it's David Dvorak, it's Costa, and then it's Matt Schnell. And apparently, since Manel Kopp can't seem to make weight or make a fucking fight, Steve Erceg gets this shot. So good on him. But I think it's probably a little too early. So give me Pantoja. Hopefully, this goes to decision, and we get a ton of takedowns, control time, ground and pound from Pantoja. Steve Erceg, tough as hell. So hopefully that helps my decision prediction. So yeah, we'll go Pantoja decision. Love this fight for DraftKings. I don't know if I'd be stacking it. I don't know. There's too many fights to really be stacking a fight in cash, but I don't mind either side, but I will be much heavier on Pantoja personally. Lou, take us home. What do you like here for this main event?
Just think it's too much too soon for Erceg.
Yeah,
I really do. I like, this is such a big step up. He's the away team.
This is
true. I know what Pantoja can do in 5-round fights. I know what he can do late in 5-round fights. Erceg's giving me no indication that he can't have the skill sets to match Pantoja here, but it's really just too much too soon for me. And I'd rather go with the known quantity here at less than minus 200. So it's really all I got on that.
Here we go. Yeah, and Steve has to be trolling, right? This is like saying that Nickelback is your favorite fucking band. Like Matchbox 20, bro. I mean, hey, I liked Rob Thomas as much as anybody else on that Santana album, but come on, let's pump the brakes a little bit, Steve. Yeah, I'm liking this card, man. There's some interesting spots. 14 fights is not ideal for DraftKings, but it's going to make things very, very interesting, which I am a fan of. So before we get out of here, check out, and I know we're doing something else too, but let me just plug Bankroll or Bust. That is out now on YouTube. It is Gordo, returning champion, taking on Easy and Johnny K. Picks. So it's about 20 minutes long. We're right at that Jeopardy time. I mean, just take the commercials out, and we're right at that 30-minute mark. Yeah, that is out now on the MonkMMATics channel, and I don't think there's much else. I was going to say check out Happy Hour, but you're already doing that, so thank you. And yeah, that's all I've got. So now, Lou, take it away. Shopcott likes corn. That would be so fucking funny.
I guess I can pull this banner down. All right. So I apologize once again, guys, for I'm going to cap this in less than 5 minutes if you want bets for the Kentucky Derby. So still going to put out a video tomorrow, going a little more in detail about what I like, but I'll go through this as quick as I can. Let me talk about the 2 favorites on the board. They are Fierceness and Sierra Leone. This is in odds order, by the way, not in post order. Sierra Leone is on the inside at the 2, Fierceness on the outside in the dreaded 17 slot. No horse has ever won the Kentucky Derby, drawing the 17, which is really weird. It just seems to be a bit of an anomaly. However, Encino, who was in the middle, got scratched. So really, Fierceness has kind of slid over to the 16. So Sierra Leone's consistent, first and second every race, pretty good closer. The problem I have with Sierra Leone in the spot in terms of win equity is that traversing a 20-horse field when you like sitting in the middle of the pack, you need a perfect run at the end. You need to get by a lot of powerful horses. You need to have a perfect race to get in on the post, and I don't think Sierra Leone will win. I do think he can hit the board coming in fourth, at least in the top 4. Fierceness, man, lot to like for me. 3 wins out of 5. Fastest horse in the race by Brisnet, by all the speed figures. In the last 2 wins, the Florida Derby and the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, you can go on YouTube and go watch them. I sent them both to Monk. Go watch those. This horse stays on the pace, stays very close to the leader, and then near the final turn, pulls away, and no one is catching Fierceness if we get to that point in the race. Not one horse in this race has the closing speed that Fierceness does. There's a stat called final fractions. It talks about, it's a theory. There's some flaws in it, but 29 of the last 33 winners have fit this criteria. It talks about, can you run sub 38 seconds the last 3 furlongs, sub 13 seconds the last furlong. It's basically how fast when you make your move and how fast you would close. There's like 11 horses that fit that criteria here. Sierra Leone does not, but Fierceness, the best of the bunch. Mystic Dan fits it too. We'll get to him in a second. I don't like that horse. It's kind of like a freak anomaly. So out of the 2 favorites, I am throwing in my stake with Fierceness. That is my pick for the Derby. I think Fierceness is going to get a good break from the outside, going to be able to keep pace with Dornoch, who I'll talk about in a second, and maybe just a touch. I think they will be the pace setters. I think Fierceness, it's going to be a fast-paced race. Will stay paced with Dornoch. I don't think Dornoch's going to be able to last the whole race. Fierceness will stay near the lead, start making the run with 3 furlongs left, and then nobody's going to catch this horse. Great. Well, how do you make money on the race? So the way I'm playing this race, last year I did a 5-horse trifecta box because I really didn't like any of the favorites that much, but I wasn't sure it was going to win. And I faded Tappet Trice, who was the favorite after Forte got scratched. Sorry, guys, I'm doing a lot of this off memory just to, like, I didn't predict Mage. I just had Mage as one of my 5. I had, like, same with 2 Phils. So I was really happy that a 10-1 and a 19-1 hit the board. And a 50-cent bet there was like $440. So there's big money to be made when these things hit the board. So that's what we're going to try to build here. So the way I'm playing it this year is I'm putting Fierceness to win in my trifectas and my superfectas. If Fierceness loses, the bet's dead. It's that simple. And then I'm going to play 7 horses underneath to come in second, third, and fourth. So they all have to come in the money. For a trifecta, you need then get second and third. For a superfecta, second, third, and fourth. Here are the horses I'm playing. The next 3 on the board that I didn't talk about are all underneath for me. Forever Young's not. Forever Young is the Japanese horse. It's the horse that's won the UAE Derby. These horses are 0 for 19 and even coming in the superfectas over the years. Every year, this is the best horse. This is going to be the one. This is the Japanese horse that's going to do it. And all these horses, for whatever reason, level of competition, acclimating, whatever. If I get beat by this horse, so fucking be it. I'm just not going to roster this horse in the 7 I'm going to play underneath. Catching Freedom, awesome closer. Should be there at the end. Runs really well down the stretch. I think can definitely hit the board. Is a win contender in this race as well. But I think will come in the top 3. Probably my most likely out of this range. Just a touch. Super, super interesting horse. It's getting better and better. It's beaten Fierceness before in one of the wins. Gonna set the pace. I think Fierceness is going to catch him, but definitely a cool superfecta play for me at 10-1. I think he might be 12-1 on some boards right now. Ooh. I'm fading Dornoch. Stronghold, man, these odds are old because Stronghold's 30-1 now. Stronghold and Resilience are both on the outside. I put them both in. It's the same deal. I think they could probably be there near the end. Do not dare put that comment up on the screen. Don't you dare, Monk. You're doing serious business here.
That's right.
I like Honor Marie a lot. It's the Irish horse, Ben Curtis, despite my disdain for the Irish in general, as a proud Italian. Very, very good closer. Probably as good a closer as Sierra Leone. So you're getting really good value there. And the last one that I wanted to bring up in my bets is, what the fuck's the 12, dude? Did I get cut off on the screen?
Yeah, it did. There we go.
I don't give a fuck about deterministic. Domestic product at 30-1. So this is a very interesting horse. Domestic product is like a super interesting horse for me because I don't know how good it is. He's not the fastest, but he's always in the money, runs well, and you have Chad Brown as the trainer, who's like legendary, and Irad Ortiz, who's a legendary jockey, and you're giving me 30-1. Legendary jockeys don't ride on bad horses. So I like the 30-1 we're getting here. So to sum up, soccer. This is not soccer picks. Why does everybody think this is fucking soccer picks? And the crawler had even said horsies. I specifically said horsey picks. Man, you guys.
I think they're messing with you, Lou.
Dude, I don't have to do any of this. You guys.
No, I need you to do it.
So to recap, I am playing Fierceness to win. If you want to do a 7-horse superfecta or a 7-horse trifecta, it will cost you $21. It's 50-cent bets for the trifecta. It's 10-cent bets for the superfecta. $21 each. This is not financial advice. My picks: Fierceness to win, and then the following 7 horses to come in second, third, and fourth: Sierra Leone, Catching Freedom, Just a Touch, Stronghold, Honor Marie, Resilience, and Domestic Product. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my official play for the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby. And may I say, make yourself a nice bourbon mint julep, get a fancy hat. If you ever get a chance to go to the Derby, do it, man.
Do it.
It is a blast. I've been there twice in my life on the infield. So much fun.
Nice.
Lots of babies being made, regretfully so, that day, I'm sure. But that's it. That's all I got for the Derby.
Nice. I'm tailing the shit out of that.
I will do a little more exhaustive breakdown tomorrow, where I'm not doing it all off complete memory. So I think for no memory, it's,
damn good. A little teaser, if you will.
Yeah. Also, Hades isn't even in the race yet. So
there we go.
We might get scratches. Oh, and that's one last thing. There's no reason to bet this yet, guys. If you're going to bet it Saturday. You're not beating the market. You get whatever price the horse closes at. There's no betting in advance and hoping you took advantage of the market.
CLV.
It's just not how that works. There's none. So you may as well wait till an hour or two before the race, when you know that horses might get scratched. We've had horses get scratched on the way to the turf. On the walk to the track, they've been scratched. So no. Again, I don't have to do this for you guys. I do this for free. This is free advice from a guy who cleaned up last year. If y'all don't want it, it's not a problem for me. There's 2 more races. I'll just keep them to me and Monk, man. I'll just tell Monk who I like. That's it.
I'll tell you guys. Don't worry. It's okay.
I ain't an internet clout guy. I don't give a shit. I just want to win money. I'm just here to win money.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And I'll tell you, and I can tell you right now that the Miss Betya took Catching Freedom, and every horse that she picks dies the second they leave the stall. But still, I like the horse that much where I'm going to go against that narrative.
There we go. No glue factory for Catching Freedom, hopefully.
I'm very proud of myself that I didn't say a phrase that rhymes with nap horse. Very proud of myself.
There you go. I am too, Lou.
Yourself.
On that note, we are done. Let's get on out of here. Thanks, guys. Hit the like, hit the sub on the way out, even though I know most of you already are. Just check it out for me. And yeah, Next week, we've got UFC St. Louis. Lewis versus, there we go, Juicy. Lewis versus somebody, Nascimento. And yeah, we'll be back for that. So without further ado, guys, I want all of you to enjoy the fight. So enjoy, and we will see you in the next one.